everyone, and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, hi, my name is Nicole and I'm a part-time reseller on Poshmark, and today I'm going to talk about ways to have a successful reselling business in 2025. These are things that you want to make sure that you're doing to really ensure that your business is a success this year. I know there's so many things that we all try and do to make sure that we have success, but I feel like sometimes, those things don't work, or maybe you're doing all those things, but you're still not seeing success. These are things that are going to guarantee you to really flourish your business this year and really grow it and, really make a lot of sales. So hopefully that is something that you want to see and you're interested in. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss a future reselling video that I do here on this channel. Okay, so the first thing that's going to be really important that you do this coming year is to make sure that your pricing is fair. So what I mean by this is don't overprice and don't underprice. You want to make sure that your prices are very fair, very, even prices, and you don't want to be the person who, way overcharges, and you also don't want to be the person that way undercharges, because then you're not going to make any money off of that. But you want to make sure that your prices are competitive, because you want to make sure that, your listings, when they come up, either whether they're promoted or not, that people aren't going to get scared away just looking at the price. Because I've actually personally been there where I was shopping for something on Poshmark and the price was just double what it should have been, or it was just a really unfair price, and I immediately didn't even bother looking at that listing because I just figured if their price is that high, they're going to be unreasonable about even an offer or anything like that. So I understand the need to price a little bit higher just so you can send out an offer or things like that, but you don't want to overprice like double or triple the amount that it retails for. And you also want to keep in mind too that people can get things cheaper. So if you're going to try and sell it for whatever the new with tag price is, or if you're trying to sell it for what you bought it for, maybe you're trying to sell the item, keep it in consideration that you might not be able to do that. And you're going to scare people away if your prices are too high. So make sure that your prices are fair, make sure that they're not too high, and make sure that, they're within reason, but you also leave enough room for yourself to make a good profit on the item, even if you send out an offer or if someone sends you an offer. The next thing that you want to do this year is to make sure that you're keeping up with trends and make sure that you are, really keeping yourself in the know of what people are looking for on Poshmark, because I feel like it's really good to get on top of those things that people are looking for and that they want. And when you see something that is, a good trend or something like that, especially I did a video a couple weeks ago where I talked about the top trending categories and brands for this year. Those are things that you want to really, start listing, because those are things that people are looking for. If you really want to get more eyes on your closet, having those things that people are actively searching for is the best way to do that. So keeping up with those trends is going to be so important, and it's going to make you, sell your listings a lot faster, and it's going to just, make you maybe even be able to sell things at a higher price. I always do say brands are not always the most important, or trends are not always the most important, but if you want to make fast, active sales and you want to, be able to flip things quicker, and you want to be able to maybe even sell them higher, then I think focusing on the trends is a great way to do that. And kind of going off of that one, just have things that people want, and that's also going to make you have a really successful business. You don't want to have, very basic tees, or you don't want to have, styles that aren't really popular anymore. You want to have things that people are actively looking for. So a great example of this is in the denim category. So everyone's looking for, wide leg and flares and things like that. A lot of people are not necessarily looking for skinny jeans, but there are some people that are. So you really want to focus on trying to find those flares and those wide leg and, higher rise and things like that. Those are what people really want. So make sure you're focusing on that, because if you fill your closet with a bunch of filler pieces that nobody really wants, it's going to be hard for you to sell those pieces, and they're going to sit for a very long time. Same thing with the purses and bags category. I know this from experience where I had these big bags that were really heavy and things that people just don't carry anymore, and I was struggling to sell them, and I realized that because they're just not things that people are looking for. People want smaller bags, they want crossbody bags, they want lighter weight bags. So really just put that in your mind when you are thrifting or sourcing for inventory. Make sure you're getting things that people actually want, and that will really ensure that you're going to have success with your business. The next important one is to make sure that you're sourcing things not just because they were popular last year, or not just because they've sold for you in the past. It's really important to remember that brands come and go, and I know this personally from, I used to try and sell Lululemon and Athleta and a lot of other brands like that, and I just haven't had luck with it in the last like year or so. So I just don't source them anymore. And maybe that's an unpopular opinion, but I just think that if you're trying to source things that you sourced for a while and had success with, but then stopped having success with, you're gonna kind of like flatline yourself and you're not gonna be able to grow. So if you try and find new brands to source or new categories to source, don't just do the same things over and over. You might find the new bestseller for your closet, and you might open a lot of possibilities. Don't be afraid to really go out there and source new brands. This next one is a big one. You want to make sure that you are finding new and also cheaper ways to source. As thrift stores and Goodwills and all these other places start really catching on to resellers and they start upping their prices and, not having dollar a day in some locations and all of this, you want to make sure that you're finding the cheapest way to source because you want to keep your costs very low. If you are paying a lot for your inventory, you're going to have a hard time flipping it and selling it. So I recommend keeping your costs as low as possible. Mine are $1 per item, and I think that is completely fair. But if you start going in, $5, $10 per item, depending on what you're selling it for, you might not be able to make a lot of profits. So keep that in mind. If your Goodwill, like my Goodwill, for example, has gotten rid of Dollar Day and now they have $2 Day, or they have, just the normal sales, and the prices are a little bit higher and I don't want to pay that price. So I'm finding new ways that, I can get inventory cheaper so I don't have to pay, double what I would have been paying before. And so it's always important to keep looking for new opportunities. Like, a couple years ago, I didn't even know Dollar Day was a thing. I also didn't know the bins were a thing, and they are the cheapest ways that I've ever found inventory, except for the ways I get it for free. So always keep, your mind open to new ways to get inventory. Don't be afraid to go out and try and find new ways to source. You might be surprised on what you can find and how cheap you can get inventory. Okay, the next one is don't be afraid to adapt to new changes, whether that be in brands or in, selling structure, or whether that be you trying something that you have never tried before, such as live shows or, things like that. Don't be afraid to try something new because that could be really what's hindering you from success. And I know a lot of people swear that they don't like Posh shows and they will never do them and, they'll never get on camera. And I feel like if you just try it out and give it a go, you might end up really liking it. And I know a lot of people that, are actually in these comments that say that they love going live and that they didn't expect to, or it's really helped them get out of their shell a little bit. So definitely try new things. Don't be afraid because, again, that could be something that is like your best thing that you've ever done, and that can really help you bring in success. So just try new things and don't be afraid to adapt. If the times change, Poshmark is really pushing the live shows, so don't be afraid to give that a try. You might end up really liking it. And the final thing that's going to make you have a lot of success this year is if you are just organized. If you're not organized, you're really going to struggle and you're really going to have a hard time. So being organized, keeping your inventory organized, keeping your closet organized, keeping, your bookkeeping organized, keeping your expenses organized, these are all really things that make a big difference and that will really impact your success this year. If you're not organized, you can't find pieces, you're going to be canceling orders, you're going to be, struggling, you're going to waste a lot of time. These are just things that are just not good. And so stay organized and start, fresh this month. This is the best time to start fresh. Maybe go through your inventory, organize it, get rid of things that you don't want to, have in your closet anymore. Organize it by category, and don't be afraid to change that as the year progresses, as you get more inventory or get less inventory. But staying organized throughout the whole year and keeping it up will help you really succeed this year on Poshmark. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope you found these tips helpful. Let me know down below what you're going to do this year to really make sure that your business is successful, because I'm sure something that you're going to do can help somebody else out there in the comments. So let me know that down below. And also, if you want to see the video I made on the future of reselling on Poshmark in 2025, you could click this video. And if you want to see the top trending brands and categories that I talked about earlier in this video, you can watch this video right here. But until next time, I will see you then.